The following program is a KARE 11 News special presentation produced in cooperation with the Tucker Center for Research on Girls and Women in Sport at the University of Minnesota.
Well, if there was a basket, I'd show you I could shoot.
Throw like a girl.
There's so many sports and so many opportunities now that are opening up.
Throw like a girl.
I think it can give women a sense of self-esteem, of confidence.
Throw like a girl.
I remember being interviewed when I was 12, and they asked how long or how far do I want to take my hockey career, and without hesitation I said the Olympics.
Throw like a girl.
When I hear people now say she throws just like a girl, I want to say, yes, she does, and isn't that great?
Hello, everyone. I'm Pat Miles. When I was growing up, throwing like a girl was derogatory slang. It meant you were uncoordinated, weak, and couldn't compete with the boys. In fact, any young girl who had strength and speed and used it was labeled a tomboy. But today, more than 25 years after Title IX and the push for gender equity, we call those same girls athletes. Throwing like these girls is not only a compliment, it's a tribute to women's achievements in sport. Title IX is the federal law passed in 1972 mandating equity for boys and girls in any federally funded educational institution. This law launched an explosion of opportunities for girls and women's athletics almost overnight. And yet today, few student athletes even know it exists.
Have any of you ever heard of Title IX?
Nope.
No.
I mean, the good news to me is that it does show how far we've come.
Dr. Mary Jo Kane is the guiding force behind the Tucker Center for Research on Girls and Women in Sport at the University of Minnesota, and a national authority on Title IX.
That this generation of girls take for granted and have a sense of entitlement with respect to participation in sport. That's a wonderful thing. I think the downside of that is that they take it for granted and that they have a sense of entitlement, and they do not know their history.
Tucker Center, this is Joa.
Advocating and continuing what Title IX began for girls in sport is at the heart of the Tucker Center mission. Founded and endowed by 1945 U graduate Dorothy Tucker, it is the only research center of its kind in the world.
And the way that I think about it is that in one generation, we have gone from young girls hoping that there is a team to young girls hoping that they make the team. And that, to me, there is a universe of difference in that measure of hope.
Is she the Sportswoman of the Year? Why isn't she doing any sports?
Together with the AAUW, Dr. Kane and her staff sponsor workshops for student athletes at area high schools.
But I can't find anything in here on the women's hockey team.
Oh, here we go. It's this little tiny picture up at the top on the date line.
So what I want to talk about today in the slideshow is how, in spite of the gains that have been made in the last 25 years, and they have been tremendous, sportswomen continue to be portrayed in the media as fundamentally different from male athletes. What the media say is, well, she may be an athlete, but ultimately she's pretty, she's feminine, and she's heterosexual. On average, female athletes are significantly more likely than male athletes to be portrayed off the court, out of uniform, and in poses that are about sex appeal, pretty, feminine. This is from the late 1980s, and I think you will recognize this next person. Again, highlighting the most important people in sport in this year. You've heard of Steffi Graf. Well, this is how Sports Illustrated portrayed her. My question is, this is not Swimming Pool Magazine, and this is standard stuff, okay? Off the court, out of uniform, and in sexy poses. And this is how, in 1996-97, Diamond Baseball Equipment chose to portray or advertise their product.
Oh, okay.
Why, in their sweat and in their glory, can't they be beautiful?
Precisely. Exactly. All I'm asking is for the media to come in and turn the camera on and just show us what it looks like when women play sports, because when girls throw like girls, they are individuals who deserve our respect and our admiration for what they can accomplish, and that is they are great athletes.
Throw like a girl.
I was practically born on a swimming pool deck. Even though I was 7 years old, living in Iowa, I carried around my Goldie Gopher and I bled maroon and gold. And I knew I would always go to Minnesota just because that's where my sister went.
Diane made that dream come true. From 1985 to 1989, she was a scholarship swimmer at the University of Minnesota. A 4-year letter winner and member of the NCAA national team 2 years in a row, she is an athlete who benefited from Title IX without even realizing it.
When I was growing up, I knew nothing of what Title IX was or anything like that. Didn't even know that it existed. I just knew that I had an opportunity to swim for my high school and swim for my States College University.
How's everybody feeling?
Well, they're anxious right now after you get that first race. We're heat one, first race.
Come on, Kim! Go Gophers! Come on, Minnesota!
Diane began cheering for the Gophers as a young girl. She was the #1 fan of an older sister competing at the U.
She was a great role model for me.
As young as I can remember, I was always involved in sports.
Denise was kind of like a natural athlete. It's what she wanted, let's put it that way. She was outside throwing a softball against the house.
When she was 10 years old, she was the outstanding 10-year-old girl swimmer in the state of Iowa at that time. So it was good for him. It kept him busy. It taught him a lot of lessons that you got to be part of a team and do your best, work hard.
I think it's so good for these kids to have this available to them. It's just not for the boys. Why should they have it? The girls need this also.
What I would call my recruiting trip to Minnesota was my dad and I drove up to the Minneapolis campus, made an appointment, and we talked to Coach Linda Wells. And I remember my dad bringing scrapbooks and clippings and talking to Coach Wells about what kind of player I was and my qualifications, and then asking about an athletic scholarship. And she very tactfully and kindly said, we'd love to have Denise play at the university, but unfortunately there are no athletic scholarships for women.
There was no scholarships. I checked on that, believe me.
In my freshman year, I played volleyball, I played basketball, and I played softball. And at that time, you could do all three. Budgets were small, travel was limited. We used the same uniforms for each season. We did have long pants for softball, but I wore the same uniform top. A few years ago, they had a sale at the University of old equipment from women's athletics, and I was able to get my old softball uniform. This was from my senior year. Yeah, you got to see that number 24.
Katie, you're right here. Now, you know where the starter is right here. I've been in teaching my entire career and coaching, and I really feel strongly that I need to present a positive image and be a positive role model. I'm a brand new coach to track. The big impetus, though, was my daughter getting involved in running, both in cross-country running and track.
I kind of shuffled through, like, sports. I really hadn't, I tried, like, a lot of things. Like, I was in basketball 2 years. Then in 7th grade, you could pick a school sport. Like, they had many that you could choose from. And so my mom and dad kind of like, well, why don't you try cross-country running? Because I was very athletic and stuff. And so I tried that. I like the way it makes you feel and how you try and improve yourself and get stronger and better. I noticed that my grades were lower when I was, like, I didn't have a sport, but when I was in the sport, it was higher. And so it just, I think it made me feel better about myself. I had a higher self-esteem, and it like, helped me.
Finish, Molly! You're there! That a girl, good! Job, Molly! I think sport provides young women an avenue to be successful, to learn leadership skills, to be a confident young person, to be a decision maker, to have responsibility. And so to me, sport provides a a base for the rest of your life.
I think athletics has a lot to do with who I am as a person and how I communicate with people and how I work with people and being outgoing.
Things have changed a great deal. I wish that I was young and in high school again. I would love it.
Throw like a girl.
Sunday mornings are quiet in Arlington, a small town that 70 years ago was home court to little-known heroes.
Right here.
This should be it.
Players of a championship team slowly stepping back in time on the same gym floor.
I was a dead shot. We tried dribbling and it didn't work.
Free for all, I guess.
One of the games we won, the score was 5-3.
I cannot believe you remember the score of a game.
Oh, yes. We never had a score more than 27. We were the champions. We won 13 games in a row, and so we were won from everyone in the area. And we declared ourselves champions. Nobody else did. So we had a picture taken with the champs on the ball.
Sisters Luella and Carolyn were teammates.
I was only good at free shots, that's all. I wasn't aggressive.
I was a running center and forward. And we had bloomers down to here.
There was no air conditioning.
I know we didn't wash them between every game. I don't know what happened to them.
Oh, they were wool.
To the opponents, whether they liked it or not.
But aren't we sloppy looking?
What were those uniforms made out of?
Serge. Great big bulky ones.
Were they hard to play in?
Horrible.
Margaret remembers playing sports in the 1920s, too. She competed at the collegiate level at Carleton and 1 year at the University of Minnesota.
I can remember playing field hockey. That was just had barely come out. And I was, as I say, I was short, but I was fast. Okay. So I can remember scooting around the outside.
We have your diary from back then. November 21st, 1922. You said the All-Stars played the juniors and were beaten. There's a hockey banquet in the cafeteria. Clever and peppy, good eats, good stunts.
As I say, my friends all said, you don't have much money, but you have a lot of fun. And that was the truth of it.
It was a social event at that time, but still serious enough for the U of M's highest athletic honor.
And this is your actual letter that you won in 1923. One of the oldest living letter winners from the university.
I loved every minute of it. We're proud of being from Minnesota. Go for Rita, go for Rhoda. We're the girls from Minnesota. Oh, men.
Pride handed down to her granddaughter. Now a lawyer in the state attorney general's office, Margaret earned one of the first scholarships for female athletes at the University of Minnesota as a tennis player in the 70s.
I know for me personally, I've grown so much through athletics, just in a sense of self-satisfaction over what I can accomplish.
Competitive collegiate sports was a great preparation for being a trial attorney because it gives you a discipline to apply yourself. You know what it is to like prepare for something big. It forces you to learn how to win, hopefully graciously, but also how to deal with losing. I just found that there were tremendous benefits to me personally from playing sports. That I'm just so impressed at how the level of girls' skills have gone up.
The weight room was once off limits and considered unnecessary and inappropriate for women. No more. Pumping up is not only acceptable, it's mandatory for female collegiate athletes.
We can give them an arena to test themselves, to get better every day, teaching them skills that they can take with them beyond athletics.
Up! Come on. Push! Good. You have to have strong players. They get beat up, they get thrown around. Typically, when I sit down with them at the beginning of the year, I may say something to the effect of, I don't care how you look in your uniform, I care how you play in your uniform.
We used to think of ourselves kind of as saleswomen, because we kind of had to sell it to them.
It always is appearance-oriented. It's always, how am I going to look if I do this?
These qualities of strength, of speed, of athleticism have been traditionally relegated to men. You know, we're working with 18, 19, 20-year-old women, 21, and there's a definite fear of being too muscular, of being too big, of being too strong.
What they care about is not whether they're successful lifting the weight, but how they look when they lift the weight. Once they get into it, I think they start to give up some of those fears a little bit.
I think it can give women a sense of self-esteem, of confidence. I think it's very important for them to use their bodies and to live in their bodies.
Even the 4 years and 5 years that Amy's been here, I think we've seen a higher level of athlete come in.
We've seen a gradual getting away from the appearance and more aiming toward the performance, which is encouraging for us. So the acceptance, the participation with women is definitely growing. So I think we're gonna continue to see huge strides being made in here.
Women's sports are growing in every arena, and in every decade, the next generation of women breaks through a new threshold at the highest level of competition. At the last 2 Olympic Games, more women competed in more sports than ever before, like the history-making debut of women's ice hockey in Nagano, Japan. Midwesterners had 3 reasons to cheer for the United States gold medal team. Edina's Jenny Smigdal, St. Paul's Alana Blahotsky, and Karin Bai, who came home to a hero's welcome in River Falls, Wisconsin.
This is very exciting for her and for, I think, this town.
Okay, your total's gonna be 1369. Not something that happens to a small town every day. Pulls a lot of people together, I think. It's pretty exciting.
It's the first time we've ever had a homegrown person win an Olympic medal, so that is exceptional.
She was in a lot of the leagues that I was in.
This is our way of welcoming her home. She's done a great deal for the community and for all of the United States, and this is just our way of saying thank you.
Oh, bless your heart. I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
River Falls is such a great community. They've been supportive of me all the way through my hockey career. You know, I was the only girl on the boys team, and there was never, ever a problem. It was my dream. You know, my dream was to go to the Olympics and win a gold medal, and I was able to, you know, my dream came true. So I want to be able to share that with other people and hope that other kids will set dreams for themselves and set goals for themselves, and maybe one day their dreams will come true too.
Karin, you're a great role model. And when I graduate from college, I will want to be just like you.
I'm still kind of getting used to it, you know, being able to walk different places and have people stop you and say, hey, are you Karin Bai? You know, can I have your autograph? Jeff, it's nice to meet you.
It's a celebrity status that shattered every stereotype. She is celebrated by the old and young, girls and boys alike.
I'm like, the father-son banquet, you want me to come speak? He's like, yeah. Signed a lot of autographs to the boys, and they said that they watched me play and really enjoyed it, so not only for the girls, but for the boys as well. Our goal was to come to this Olympics and come away from this Olympics 6-0. We wanted to win all the games. I think the Olympics, especially winning the gold medal, is really a springboard for women's athletics. More specifically women's ice hockey, but I think women's athletic in general. You're going to see more and more female out there playing sports, and women's ice hockey programs are popping up all over.
Minnesota hockey, especially girls hockey, has made incredible strides since I was a kid. Yeah, I can't even believe it. Like, it's still, you know, it's unbelievable to think that that's a gold medal.
A gold medal and once-in-a-lifetime experience she shares with the youngest of fans.
I'm a big fan of Alana Blahotsky.
Hi.
Will you sign my shirt, please?
Yep. Yeah, it's great to hear that, you know, they're excited because we went to the same school.
Congratulations. Come a long way from failing playground.
I think this is one of the greatest things that could happen, to show these kids that
their dreams can come true, and you know, their wildest thing in their imagination is possible if they just put their heart in it, like Alana has over the years, and good hard work.
I want to be in the Olympics just like Alana.
Oh, it's totally worth it.
Throw like a girl.
Minnesota National Girls and Women's Sports Day, I think it's cool. It's like the first thing for us. It's more of a statement, I think.
We can do whatever guys can do.
I know, I think it says a lot for us. I don't know, makes us feel stronger.
Each February, athletes, coaches, and fans gather at the state capitol to honor the accomplishments of girls and women in sport. It's local recognition of a national day that takes a time out to appreciate just how far we've come.
I think it's great that we're being recognized as something important.
Yeah, well, like, my mom couldn't play sports when she was in high school. I think it's cool that we can.
We may be girls, but we are also athletes.
They need to understand how important it is they become a part of this whole movement so that we'll never again experience a loss of opportunity for females who like sports.
Few people can revel in girls' progress on the athletic field like Dorothy McIntyre. Easily considered the matriarch of girls' high school sports in Minnesota, she's watched it grow from the beginning.
I would like to get our participation numbers up just a little bit so that they're exactly even with what the boys have. So, success, yes. A little ways to go, sure, but we're on our way.
It makes people aware that women are having a stronger influence in the world now, and we're having more of an influence in sports. It lets people know that women can be just as good as men, and women should have the same opportunities as men. Sometimes we're better.
The most important thing is that they're living what Title IX intended to be, and that is enjoying the opportunity to participate in sports.
When I was young, it was impossible to even imagine women shooting hoops on a professional court. Thanks to Title IX and all the women who dared to throw, run, and jump farther, I'm able to make what was once an unreachable dream my life's work. I'm Andrea Lloyd Curry, starting forward for the Minnesota Lynx of the Women's National Basketball Association. I'm proud that my team supports the Throw Like a Girl project so that every girl has even more opportunities for generations to come. Along with the Minnesota Lynx, funding for duplication and distribution of Throw Like a Girl was provided by the Medtronic Foundation on behalf of Medtronic, providing lifelong solutions for people with chronic disease, and by the Janet B. Watson Fund of the Minnesota Women's Foundation. For more information on the Tucker Center for Research on Girls and Women in Sport at the University of Minnesota, call 612-625-7327 or check out their website.